Hey everyone, this is the Vanilla Investor bringing you simple finance at your fingertips. Warren Buffett is known today as one of the best investors to have ever lived. If you had invested just $1,000 in his investment company Berkshire Hathaway when he took it over, you would have over $21 million today even with the ongoing market crash. This is an average return of around 20%, which exceeds the return of the S&P 500, which has an average return of 10% yearly. But what is it that Warren Buffett had done right to obtain such amazing results and go on to become one of the richest men in the world? The key factor here is to invest so that you can reach your financial goals several times faster. But the only problem is that investing is hard. It is rather complicated and competitive if you don't know the rules, as it is often thought of as a zero-sum game. You would probably lose all of your money that you worked so hard to earn. However, in this video, we are going to cover a set of key principles that you should follow to be one of the few people who actually make money by investing. Make sure you watch to the fifth point, as that personally really resonated with me. I'm going to start off with something that might cause a lot of debates, and that is diversification is not the end-all be-all in investing. What is the magic number of stocks that you own on average? Is it 10? 15? Experts usually suggest between 20 to 30 in order to diversify your portfolio, as the unsystematic risks are reduced to a certain threshold. But this always makes me wonder. Let's say you have yourself an excellent company within your reach. The company produces fantastic products, has strong numbers on its financial statements, and a reliable management is spearheading the direction for the firm. So tell me, why would you put your money elsewhere aside from this company right in front of you? This is my take on diversification and why I personally think that it's not the best strategy. Now you could argue that even if such a company does exist in the market, it is extremely rare and hard to find. Well, you're correct. Which is why my philosophy in investing is to just pick a few companies that are of good quality. Which leads back to the question, how many stocks should you own? As few as possible. With each additional stock you add to your portfolio, extra effort and time needs to be spent to follow it, including reading its quarterly earnings report and making a financial analysis. Having said that, you should avoid putting all your eggs in one basket. But you should also not increase the number of companies you invest in just for the sake of diversifying. There are some great companies in the market that have stood the test of time, like Coca-Cola, Microsoft, Berkshire Hathaway, and since they are such great companies, they will be able to survive an economic downturn and continue to grow in value. Number 2. Never buy on a green day. According to Baron Rothschild, a powerful nobleman of the wealthy Rothschild family, he said, "The time to buy is when there's blood in the streets." This rule can not only be applied to the stock market, but also towards all types of investment. People tend to rely on their emotions and invest based on their gut feelings as a result, when they should have been making rational decisions based on factual data and numbers. For example, if a bank is about to go bankrupt, all the people who have their money safe in the bank would be losing their money if it does happen. So people would be fearful and rush immediately to the bank to withdraw all their savings. This would cause a chain reaction where everyone else sees it and does the same, ultimately bankrupting the bank. This would cause other people to do the same, which would gradually affect the entire economy. However, this is all theory. In practice, well-established banks with deep roots will survive such a liquidity crisis, but do end up losing a significant amount of assets. In times like ours, the uncertainty has made everyone panic in the financial market, leading to massive sell-offs and scaring off potential buyers, which result in the huge crash in the market. Eventually, the panic subsides, and the market goes back to normal, and great companies will regain their value. This is why if you had bought during the time of the crisis and weathered through like a champ, the undervalued companies you bought will reward you generously. Which brings me to the next point, patience. Patience is everything. Without patience, you wouldn't have been able to hold through the storm to see the rainbow. Let's say you finally saved up a few months' worth of your savings, but you look high and low but you can't find any good opportunity in the market. what would you do? Would you hold it, invest in anything that is the current hype, or blow it all on something you wouldn't even remember a few months down the line? Now the answer is you wait, of course. Sure, sometimes opportunity will arise, and you would be able to quickly capitalize on it. But oftentimes, there are traps that will drain you of your hard-earned cash. What to do? Don't rush. Take it one step at a time. Before you decide to click on the buy button, make sure to analyze the markets thoroughly. Read additional articles and only pull the trigger when you're confident enough. The same principles apply for selling a stock. Don't exit the position when the market is down just because everyone else is doing it. You should carefully evaluate what is the core reason that the stock you own is down. Is it a company-specific issue? Or is it just that the whole market is suffering from the latest crisis? It could be a temporary thing or it could be permanent, but you won't know unless you do your research. Learn to be patient and don't get swayed by your emotions. The next rule of investing is the time value of money. If I ask you, do you think time or money is more important? Now my guess is many would say money, right? I used to think that too, but now I see the value of time. Let me elaborate. The problem with investing is that if you want to earn a reasonable amount, you will need to have a sufficiently huge starting capital. If your $1,000 investment earns a crazy 50% return, that is only $500. But if you had invested $1 million, a modest 7% return would give you $70,000 a year, which is not too shabby for income that is completely passive. But the problem is how you get that first $1 million in the first place. That's the real headache. You wouldn't be able to save 100% of your paycheck. You need to eat, sleep, and have a roof over your head. And this is where the magic of compound interest comes to the rescue. Even with just a $3,000 initial capital, you reach millions if you take advantage of time. Let's say you just graduated high school and you have $1,500 worth of pocket money saved up. That's a reasonable amount of money for someone who is not working yet, and you decide to invest it. You continue to college and get a part-time job to earn some extra money, of which you also decide to invest by living frugally and cutting out on unnecessary items. Well, a quick inspection will tell you that you can't save that much, and that is correct. Even if you assume your money that you save increases in line with inflation at 3%, you would have put in a total of around $182,000 over the course of 40 years. But assuming you had kept the money invested and reinvested all the dividends, it would have grown to almost 9 times the amount you put in at $1.6 million. An interesting thing is that in the first half of the 40 years, you won't even cross the $200,000 mark. But you would earn the rest of the $1.4 million in the second half of the 40 years. Why? This is the magic of compounding at work. In other words, the amount of time you let your money work for you. Now 40 years is definitely not a short time. This is why you need to keep on top of your investments. It's a good idea to periodically review the performance of your investments. Choices that were right for you 2 years ago may not necessarily be the best for you now. Whether you speak to an independent financial advisor or conduct your own review, it makes sense to reassess your investment choices regularly. One important thing that you can consider doing is to monitor your investment performance. Some investments you hold will almost certainly have performed better than others, so the attractiveness of some over others may change over time. As higher risk is by no means a guarantee of higher returns, reviewing what you hold can also keep you on top of the overall level of risk you're exposing your money to. In addition, your immediate personal circumstances may have changed. Your investment choices depend on many factors, some of which may be unique to your own circumstances. For example, if a new job brings a higher income, you might have more money to invest each month, and you may be more prepared to take on more risk in hopes of higher potential returns. Regularly reviewing how and where you are investing can help to ensure your investments still suit your personal circumstances. This is particularly important as your investment objectives evolve over time. Whether you're trying to build up investments for a particular life event, like funding a major home purchase or maximizing your pension fund, what you're looking to achieve with your investments can change over the years. Since we talk about fitting investing with your personal circumstances, it is important to note that the stock market is not your only option. When people hear the word investing, the first thing that comes into mind is the stock market or the property market, or maybe government or corporate bonds. But it doesn't have to be that way. Although they are all excellent investing tools for different situations, they can also not be the perfect tool for the job. Remember, investing is a personal journey. Sometimes the best investment for me isn't the best for you. It could be that business you have been thinking of starting for some time now. Or maybe it is your passion for coding when you have extra time after work. You could learn the skill for 3 hours a day and eventually be able to monetize it. Investing in a course can also speed up the process as you would essentially be buying knowledge. This can earn you much more than if you would have invested the cash in the stock market. Having said that, investing doesn't always need to provide a tangible and immediate result. Investing in a self-help audiobook or personal finance book will have a long-lasting impact on your life that might not be obvious from the start. The point here is to think outside the box. The next rule is to play big and don't waste opportunities. There are many big opportunities in life that can be seized. Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha, said it best. We don't do very many things, but when we get the chance to do something that's right and big, we've got to do it. Doing it on a small scale is a mistake. You might as well not do it at all. He went on to describe it as having a punch card with just 20 punches, and this punch card follows you for the rest of your life. Each hole is a financial decision that you made, and once it is punched, there is no undoing it. You would get really rich as you would think very hard for each financial decision that you're about to make. For example, if you went to a party and some random dude talked about a company whose name you can't even pronounce but they made some money last week, you wouldn't buy it now, would you? There's a serious temptation to dabble in the markets, particularly in the bull market, because it's so easy. It's even easier now as you do it all online with a click of a button. Maybe it goes up a bit and you get excited about that and you buy another one. But you can't make any money long term doing that. Which is why the concept of the punch card is important. If you only have 20 punches in your entire lifetime, you would think long and hard before any investment decision and you would make good ones and big ones. You probably won't even finish using all 20 punches at all. Lastly, it's that hope is not a strategy. There are 3 types of companies you should invest in. The first one is the ideal scenario, where it's a stable company with products that sell, excellent management team, and solid financial track record. So the company would probably continue its uptrend and so would your investment grow if you decide to invest in this company. Secondly, the company is great, but its stock price is undervalued regardless of the reason. Maybe it received some negative press recently due to some minor issues, but the stock will definitely rise back to its true value. Thirdly, the company isn't making money now. Let's say it's a startup, but it has great potential. It might be a brand new industry, or they are developing breakthrough technology, and in the long run, they could be making huge profits. But to be able to invest in such a company, you would need to have a deep understanding of that industry and the business overall. You can't simply choose a company based on how cool the design of its logo is, or what your Uncle Sam is telling you and hope that it will grow. Can you get lucky? Maybe, but that hope is not a strategy. So invest only in companies you fully understand. Now if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Also, check out the other videos on the channel if you're interested in becoming financially free as we post content related to this niche.